Welcome to this week's Ask EMBN show, where we're going to be talking about tubeless setups, jibbing, bike racks, and a whole lot more coming up on this week's show.
This in from Ben Hinnett. What are your thoughts on e-bike specific saddles? Are they actually any different from normal saddles or a marketing gimmick? Definitely not a marketing gimmick. There definitely are seats out there are specific to e-biking. And I came up earlier in the year, a company called SQ Labs from Munich, and they had this saddle which had really flexy outer edges. And I think there was to when you're moving from side to side doing these hill climbs, try to get you to engage more weight on that rear tyre, right?
Yeah, of course. And the other thing that is e-bike specific is from Canyon. They have the raised edge, and Ergon as well. On the back of the saddle, you'll notice like a raised edge. It means that you can get your weight back really far on those climbs. You're not going to be holding on so hard to your handlebars. That actually gives you a bit of support on the back ridge of that saddle. So really good.
And of course, Ergon take it one step further by having male and female specific saddles. And my wife goes on about this all the time. You know, she insists on having a seat that's comfortable for these, these bigger rides. So yeah, definitely not a marketing gimmick there, Ben. I suggest that there's lots of different saddle companies out there, and some of them tailor the saddle to suit your. There's a word for it.
Bones.
The what?
Sit bones.
Sit bones.
Yeah.
Or sit bones.
Sit.
There you go, sit bones.
But Steve checked out a couple of different saddles, and those videos are down below as well, so check those ones out. Granny Ring has been in touch. Hi guys, waiting for my Spectral On to arrive. I'm thinking of using it for commuting on some days and want to use a spare set of wheels as some of the journey is off-road. The bike size ordered is woman extra small. If I switch to 2.2 tyres, how does this affect the bottom bracket height and pedal clearance? I assume I would need to use the frame height adjuster in the high position to get back some clearance, as well as thin pedals, for example Crank Brothers stamp. Cheers. By the way, if you're a small female, you won't fit on the men's small. The dropper post won't allow this. I watched your recent video. Do we need woman-specific bikes? In my answer, the case is
yes. It's all about specific this week, isn't it?
Specific. Saddle height being the limiting
anyway,
factor.
I think we get the point.
Yeah, so she wants to swap the standard tyres to 2.2.
So, go on, you answer the question.
Yeah, so I think changing the tyres isn't going to be massively, you're not going to notice a massive difference in the bike. Obviously, if you're swapping to a lot smaller volume tyre, then it is going to drop the bottom bracket. But the Canyon Spectral On, I think, is one of the higher bottom brackets. I don't suffer a lot of pedal strikes on mine on the trail compared to some of them. Do I?
I don't know, do you?
No, I don't.
I think the Canyon's got quite a low bottom bracket height, yeah.
No, I thought it was quite good.
Depends how you set your suspension as well,
exactly,
doesn't it?
Yeah, and all the sag and things like that. But I think for commuting and like swapping the wheels and tyres out, I think it's quite a big thing to be doing, thinking, you're going to need spare tyres, spare wheels, spare inner tube, spare sealant, cassette, rotors, all for that little gain that you're going to get on the roads. And I think commuting on an e-bike is a total different thing to comparing it to a standard bike. On a standard bike, when you're out on the road, if you've got big knobbly tyres, it is really slow and energy sapping. But obviously the e-bike, you've got the motor and it's just removing all that. So I don't really think you need the need to swap wheels in and out. I commute here to the office every single day on my Kenevo with big knobbly tyres, and it's an amazing bike to and from the office. You can have a lot of fun, like this video on screen now.
No more carrying your bike up sets of stairs. Harness that e-bike power and glide up them with ease. Think about your route. Try adding in any pump tracks, skate parks and any urban areas that can add a bit of variety to your commute.
Add into that, Chris, I was thinking the Canyon Spectral On. Now, the Canyon Spectral On has got a 29-inch front wheel and a 27.5 plus wheel on the male bikes.
Yeah.
On the smaller bikes, they're actually 27.5 plus only. Yeah. But what I was thinking was, why not swap to two 29-inch wheels, which is going to give you more speed,
like it,
on a 2-inch or a 2.2-inch tyre? Because I think there is definitely room there, definitely on the back anyway, because if there's a 27.5 plus on there, 29 with low profile is going to be an easy fit.
Good thinking.
What else I'm thinking, if you do then swap to a low profile, high, a hard compound tyre as well as the size, compound is really quite key here, plus the weight of the tyre as well. I reckon you're going to be hitting that 25 km/h restricted really, really quickly, so that you need to bear that in mind. So a lot of the time if you're commuting, you're probably going to be riding at above that restricted speed, which means, do you know what? maybe, depends how much hills you ride in, maybe if you're on the flat, you'd actually probably be better off the gravel bike then and keep your e-bike for best. However, if there are hills en route, yeah, so it's a good thing to do.
Yeah, maybe that money that you're going to spend on the wheels, you could get a budget gravel bike, something like that. So yeah.
Yeah, depends
options.
on how vertically challenged your route commute is. Stevie Gibson. Hi guys, really enjoy the show. Nice one, Stevie. I've recently got my first e-bike and love it. I have the 2019 Canyon Spectral, which has a USB port on the top tube. I'm looking for some lights. I wondered if you know any that can plug directly to USB rather than having batteries saving weight. Yeah, absolutely. Light Emotion do one. We had one on the show recently. Plugs straight in.
Checked out Amazon as well, and Cree do an amazing light that plugs straight into that USB port. Your other options are the Lupine light that will plug straight into the Shimano steps as well and operate from the onboard heads-up computer you got on there. So lots of different options on there.
Nice clean cockpit. Hugh Tube. This is for you, Chris. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris. I have the same high bike all mounted 10.0. What did you use to convert it from the stock 2x to 1x? Do you think it's actually better as a 1x? I've never dropped the chain on mine and always use a big ring for downhills because it increases the chain tension. I'd appreciate your thoughts because you probably ride a lot harder than I do. So the main reason for removing the 2x system was purely just because I didn't like all the clutter on the handlebars and a lot of the noise as well. Obviously with the front derailleur, you're going to get a lot of the chain slapping around on the more downhill stuff. So I converted it just to, I think I got a Renthal chainring on there, 34 tooth chainring, just swap the two chainrings out, replace that, and obviously it's all been good since then, and it just cleans the bike up. But I do miss that big, I think it's like a 42 tooth chainring on that standard. So obviously on the road sections, it was quite good to have that higher gear. But to be honest, I can still reach that restriction, the 25k speed restriction with a 1x setup on there. So yeah, I just miss I don't miss the noise, but sometimes I do miss that higher speed that you can get out of the bigger chainring. But I would recommend it. A lot cleaner and a lot more silent when you're out there, especially on the more tech downhills.
Lee Vivash. Hi Lee. Hi, I only have a small car. Can you recommend a bike carrier that takes an eMTB? I can only see the type that fit tow bars. Lee, I know how you feel. I had about 4 or 5 Peugeot 106s. Still managed to get about 4 downhill bikes in there, so you can get them in the back. It depends. Yeah, it does mess the car up, I guess. So putting someone on the back. Chris, don't know much about bike racks.
But I think you're going to be quite limited without the tow bar. Obviously, the tow bar option is a really safe bet with the heavy e-bikes. There's a few roof racks out there, but they're 20. A lot of them are 20 kgs on each rack.
So bike up on the roof.
Even removing the battery, you can be right on the limit, especially if you've got a couple on there with your roof rails twisted and that. So tow bar mount would be a better option.
Don't Thule make a e-bike specific rack?
Yeah, they do. But I'm not sure if that roof is roof mounted.
No, the ball hitch.
Yeah, but he's got no tow bar. The other option
get a tow bar.
Is get a tow bar or get a traditional like strap-on rack for the rear. And I found this one from Rally, which is really good. And it's got a 45 kilogram limit on it as well. So 2 e-bikes, you can be again right on that limit. But if you're only transporting one, that is a real safe bet. And that'll just strap to your back window like a normal bike rack.
Leah, I'm wondering if you're worried because you have a small car, you can't put a tow bar on it. You can put a tow bar on a little car.
Yeah.
Obviously if you've got a 900cc car, you're not going to be towing a caravan or anything like that, but you only got like a 20k e-bike, so it'll be totally fine really.
Grim Reaper's been in touch. Could you run an inflated tube plus use a tubeless scoop at the same time for double protection, or could you have an uninflated tube pushed right to the side, or even just sitting inside the tire whilst running the tubeless setup and inflate it if needed? What could happen in either scenario if you actually tried these out? Either way, it could make a great episode.
Why not just run tubeless? Job done.
Tubeless, job done, obviously.
Or tubes, job done.
Tubes, job done. But combining the two, obviously you're going to need 2 different valve holes. It's a whole world of complication coming on. And obviously more holes you've got in the rim, the more chance you've got of sealant coming out and things like that. So I would just run a standard tubeless setup and then carry a tube in your bag if you're going to get stuck. It's pretty rare to upset a tubeless setup these days. If you do tear a tyre, you can get these little strips you can put in to replace the hole and the sealant.
What are they called, Chris?
What is it?
Dog turds.
Dog turds, yeah. So just stick them in and that'll seal the hole. But yeah, tubeless, pretty fit and forget, to be fair, as long as you keep on top of the sealant levels.
Ian Wright. Ian, great to hear from you. You might as well move down here, I reckon. But this question from Ian this week is, I'm running a Reverb Stealth dropper post on my Focus Jam Squared. It was a struggle to thread the hydraulic tube through the frame, however. It seems to vary the speed of its return. I've bled the system a few times, however, after a while it goes from hare to tortoise? Is the dropper knackered after 18 months or something else?
Ooh, good question. I think obviously you're saying that it was a struggle to fit through the frame, so my guess is you probably kinked the hose somewhere. And obviously with the hydraulic system, if there's any kinks in there, it's going to restrict the flow of oil from the button to the actual seat post. So I'm guessing there's a kink in the system. I think they're quite maintenance. You've got quite high maintenance, the hydraulic seat post, so maybe swap it out, get a cable one in there. You know, if it's slowing down, you can just swap the cable out. And pretty maintenance free.
Chris, I think this is one for you. It's from Flow. And hi guys, does it make sense to remove the battery when I'm riding in bike park with chairlift to have a more agile light bike for jumping and jibbing around? Thanks in advance and great show. Thanks, Flow.
Nice to be able to ride a bike park with an uplift, but I think the e-bike works really well with the battery and everything left in it. You know, if you've got it open, there's going to be a chance of getting dirt and elements in the motor case and things like that. So I would suggest just to leave the battery in. I think that the bike will actually perform better with the battery in there because you're just going to be a bit out of tune with the bike as well. Obviously the battery is a real heavy part of the bike to lose, so it'd be almost like...
Can I ask you a question?
Go on then.
What does jibbing mean?
Jibbing?
Yeah.
It's like
jibbing.
Tricks in the woods, sort of. It comes from like BMX inspired stuff, but off-road. So that's the quickest way of describing jibbing.
I need more explanation.
So like
tricks in the woods.
Tricks in the woods, like BMX tricks from BMX bikes, but taken
Give me an
to
example of
mountain
a jib then.
A jib. Be like a log slide, so like a.
This is my Ask EMBN. What is a jib?
A jib is like something like finding like a log or something and grind down it like a BMX would do with pegs down like a handrail, but you do it on your tyres. Mm-hmm. Or just loads of cool tricks, like stuff that, you know, like
is there
snowboarders do jibs, don't they?
My next question would be, is there going to be e-bike specific jibbing?
Maybe, I could invent that. Maybe Sam Pilgrim's already invented it.
You should invent it yourself. Hey, moving on, Chris.
You've got a nice video anyway if you want to see how to ride e-bike in a bike park as well.
Yeah, I like that one actually, it's cool.
Whoa. When you turn up at the bike park, it's not a good idea to go and always hit the biggest line you can find. Take it easy, find a blue run, a beginner trail, just warm up, get up to speed, then come back to the big stuff. I think I'm going to hit this one later on.
Moving on to Dave. All right, Dave. I've seen heaps of e-mountain bikes with 29 up front and 27.5 rear. Focus to a model called the Drifter that has the same geometry as my Jam Squared, and I'm considering upgrading my front wheel to 29-inch to improve rollover. What do you reckon?
You're a good man with wheel size, Steve. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, it depends if the fork fits it. Yeah, why not? Remember, it's about the wheel rim width and the tyre as well, which you're going to fit on there. And the type of riding you do, basically. Obviously, it's going to affect your geometry. There's so many aspects to this. If you let us know what tyre size you're thinking of running, then I can probably answer it in a bit more detail.
Yeah. Tom from London's been in touch as well. Ask EMBN, could you not flash your UK EU Bosch motor to the American version to get the limit up to 20 miles per hour? And would it still be on the factory settings with display working correctly and would look just like you purchased a US bike? Potentially, yeah, you could, but it's something that needs to be done by a Bosch dealer. And obviously in the UK, they're probably not going to be able to do that for you. And of course, if you're riding it on public land, it's going to be illegal. And it's something that we probably wouldn't condone here at EMBN. But there is obviously lots of different options out there if you do want to de-restrict it. But as I say, something we don't condone here on the channel.
Or maybe move to the US, Tom. That's it from this week's Ask EMBN, Chris, I think.
Yeah, thanks for sending in the questions. Really good questions this week. If you want to get your question asked on EMBN, just drop us it in the comments box below with the hashtag AskEMBN and then your question, and we'll get back to you ASAP on an upcoming show.
Yeah, in the meantime, if you want to check out some more geometry-related questions, there's a video I've done on basic e-bike geometry. Just find it just down here. In the meantime, don't forget you can like, share and subscribe. The globe.
Click the globe to subscribe and don't miss a video. And we'll see you next week.